You what to do, man? It's yours truly, Stewie, aka J Nixon Flies guy on the radio, man. That's y'all told y'all before, all on the radio, man. Virtual and focus, man. It's all about crime and ATL. Crime and ATL, man. It's we're trying to fix our city, man, and we got to do the best thing we can do is work together and figure out how we can get our city together. You know what I'm saying? I got these two brothers that's really been doing their thing, man, really been holding us down. Andre Dickens, Atlanta City Councilman, and Gary L. Davis, Sr., founder of Next Level Boys Academy. Fellas, how y'all doing?
Hey, man, we're doing fantastic, man. Good to see you.
What's up, man? Good?
I'm good, man. We got to get to the bottom of this, what's going on in our youth. What do you think the cause is as far as the increase of crime in Atlanta?
Well, first, thank you for having us on, man. This is a very important topic. Gary and I have been talking about this and working on this for a while, and this is Gary's life work to be able to bring about change in the youth community. And so right now, the city of Atlanta has a lot going on when it comes to crime in general, some of it being youth crime. But at the same time, we're dealing with a pandemic. We're also dealing with a lot of racial injustice that's across the land and, police excessive use of force. So all across the board, tensions are high, and then cars are getting broken into. Folks are doing aggravated assault, just don't know how to solve disputes. And then, of course, burglaries and, unfortunately, sometimes murder. So all that's happening in our city, in our metro region right now. We got to put an end to it and get people on a positive road. Gary?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I don't know why they're doing what they're doing, but who I know are some young men that are here with us tonight that'll be able to talk about, what's the cause of this? What's stemming this? How can we get to the bottom of this? But if you was to ask me my professional opinion, man, I just think it's the lack of resources. I think it's the lack of positive male environment. And one of the things that we don't talk about, man, enough is poverty, man. I think people are just struggling. I think people are just trying to find different ways to survive, man, and especially with a lot of these young men in this community, because I hear a lot that a lot of young men are still in cars just so they can have somewhere to stay at night. Right. So that it's a lot going on in the city, man.
So tell me this, Gary. Explain this Next Level Boys Academy, because you have an interesting program that a lot of people I don't feel like it's getting its just due. You know what I mean? Like, you got an interesting program you got going on. Explain Next Level Boys Academy.
So we're an innovative mentoring organization, man. Been around 11 years. We initially started out as a summer camp and after school program for young men ages 5 to 14. About 5 years ago, just like, you and I got tired of turning on the news, and every time you turn on the news, black and brown males dying or going to prison. So I said, you know what? A lot of these young men should not go to prison. Right. So I started a diversion program, which is an alternative to incarceration, where you bring young men and say, you know what? Instead of this young man who, a good kid, got caught in a bad situation, instead of sending him to prison, give us an opportunity to rehabilitate them, man. And so we're diverting, as I said earlier today, about 300 years of prison time a week, man.
Wow. And you got some interesting stories, some interesting guys, you know what I'm saying, that you work with. Like, and it's really one of them things, like, it's a blessing that y'all doing that, because, everybody needs a second chance. That one mistake could change your life for the rest of your life. And it's like, if somebody knew and had that right direction, everything will be okay. And, what I'm saying, maybe they can see something else, see a different light. Tell me this, man, what is the connection between the youth crime in Atlanta? Like, what's the connection with the youth and the crime?
When you say what's the connection, like what's the cause of it?
Yeah, what's the cause? Like, I don't know, you said poverty, but as far as like this youth, are they bored? Are they just not having nothing to do? Or they just, you know what I mean? Because some people are doing it because they're trying to survive, and some people just doing it. Like, at this point, people busting car windows and ain't nothing in the car. They just want to bust some windows. Like, is it frustration? Is it the pandemic?
I don't know, man. I think it's an accumulation of a lot of things. Bored is one. What else can they do other than breaking cars and things like that, man? But and it looks so easy. Right. And but my question is, I want to maybe, I can ask maybe a young man right here, one of these young men, why do y'all think a lot of people are just breaking in cars and doing all this old foolery, man?
Because they think it's the easiest way. They think it's just probably because they lazy. They don't want to go work. They feel like they can just go in the car and get it the easy way.
Yeah, but you're talking about working though, man. It's you gotta have, and we was just if you can come up real quick, man, because you got a young man in here that told us that at 12, 13 years old, he felt obligated to take care of his whole family, Stu. So check this out. Where you gonna work at 12 or 13 years old where you can pay rent, power bill, and all that? So talk briefly about, man, what you shared with us Saturday about how you felt obligated to take care of your family, man.
Well, when I was young, you know, my mother was my mother was always single. You know, my father passed away when I was about 10 or 11 years old, so I always felt the need to step up in the house and be the man of the house and take care of my mom, and you know what I'm saying, make sure she had the comfort and didn't have to struggle for it and work extra hard for things that I know, you know what I'm saying, that a father figure is supposed to be there to do. You know what I'm saying? Some fathers are able to be there, some fathers are not able to be there. But in my situation, I want to step up and make sure my mom not, you know what I'm saying, stressed out and wanted for nothing around the house.
And how old were you?
I was about 13, 12 years old.
Imagine a 13-year-old feel, you're a grown man, right?
Right.
So imagine what you feel like and what you go through as being a man of the house. So
Right.
he's 13 years old thinking that, man. So imagine that's just one of them. So you got all these 13, 14-year-olds that's moving around in the city. Dude, they're not just going out breaking in cars and houses because they don't have nothing else to do. They're trying to survive, man. They're trying to survive, man.
And that's just so crazy because it's like a shit in a 13-year, like just me having an 11-year-old daughter, you know what I'm saying? Me having kids myself, that's a pressure that a child should not even have to go through. You know what I mean? Even at 16 trying to provide, even at 17 or 18, you're still not mentally prepared to even survive, to be able to provide for your family. Like that should be a responsibility for a young man.
And let me tell you, one of the crazy things is I asked the juvenile court system what were the top 5 crimes for juveniles in 2020. And one of those crimes was theft by receiving.
Wow.
Receiving things that have been stolen because they needed to take care of somebody in their family so they could pawn it, so they could sell it and transact with it. So they didn't do the theft, but they went to court or juvenile, etc., because they were sitting in a stolen car or was receiving an item that had been jacked. And so, I mean, that is a part of the equation for sure. Poverty. We got so much of a huge wealth gap and opportunity gap that, you know, the bottom is right there at where some of these kids live. And so all they're doing is trying to figure out a way up, and the way to come up sometimes feeds your family. And unfortunately, they're either receiving stolen merchandise. Now, another one of the crimes was theft by taking. So it was theft by taking and theft by receiving. So breaking in cars, as we mentioned, to be able to steal a laptop or steal a device out of the car, that is a real case. Just pulling up door handles and not even having to break it sometimes because the doors just be open. So the crimes are opportunity. But I definitely want to hear more from these young men about some of the ways that they have saw the light. You know, some of the wrong paths they taken and some of the right paths they taken.
Let's talk to him. I'm ready to talk to him.
So I want to ask Maurice, you had some very interesting charges against you, man. So just being in that space at one time, I mean, you've been delivered by Next Level Boys Academy. Why do you think a lot of these young cats out there, man, moving the way they're moving?
They just need guidance.
Donis.
I believe they just need guidance, like somebody like being their ear, like on the positive tip. But we all got aunts, uncles and aunts. Just not being able to look up to. You feel me? We ain't got nobody to look up to.
So you think the male presence is really that important?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. So what is a young man typically? What is his life typically like, man, without him having an active, not just a dad, man, but any type of male involved? Like, what do y'all need so much from a male?
The heartache we supposed we're supposed to be prepared for. What we're supposed to be prepared for in the future.
You think women can do that?
Nah, because they can never be a man. A man can never be a woman.
They can try.
They could try, but like that, it's just not.
So what you're hearing, man, is and I want to ask Councilman Dickinson this, man. Why do you think it's so hard to get a lot of male mentor programs in the city, man?
I mean, we need so many more of them. It's literally a community. This is a community issue. This is not a police solution only. This is not that these individuals are going to just make a change overnight. This is really, you know, what Gary has done here with all these. I mean, we're in a room full of people that support this program as well. And every program that we have, we need more of those programs, because if you don't have somebody that's, I mean, by the way, we haven't even set this up. This is you know, this is a multi-day-a-week operation. It's not, I mean, these guys come in on Saturdays, they come in on Thursdays, come in on Wednesdays, and you can give more of a details on it. But the point is, interventions are necessary. They have to have, you know, positive role models. They have to be able to model and mirror some people that are making, you know, making positive change in their lives. Some of these folks, man, I mean, these guys can tell you this, and some of the things you heard already is that they literally had no one to look up to, no male figure at all. So yeah, we need, you know, every male needs to have one or two mentees, somebody that they advise, somebody that they support to guide them on the right way. Right when you're talking to them, they may be about to make a bad decision. And so folks like Gary has to go to the courts, and he goes to the courts and advocates on behalf of a young man that might have made a mistake. Now, Gary ain't going to advocate for somebody that's just a fool, that's going to always be a fool and keep making these mistakes. Gary's going to look at you, interview you, and say, this young man was caught in the wrong. Gary calls them crash dummies, and you can talk about that.
Yeah. You know about crash dummies, don't you?
Right. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
What you know about them?
I mean, you know, they just in the car. They don't have no guidance. They just run into a wall. Just, you know. Just,
yeah. So you it's a kid in there. So you got 3 people in the car. 2 of them got charges. 2 of them got a record. 1 out on bond. Just put the pistol in your lap. Is that the crash dummy?
pretty much.
All right. Cool. But you know what, man? So this is what I'm hearing a lot of as well. Is that you know what we're doing here at Next Level Boys Academy? We're working with that group of young men that nobody really wants to be bothered with.
Right.
Because, you know, you get to a certain point in your life, probably when you get around 6th or 7th grade as a young man, you begin to think, this school thing for me, man, this life for me, man, with just my mom and all these women in the house, man, I can't get no daddy, no uncle. So their lives begin to go through a transition. And what happens is a lot of times is you say, you know what, you're not going to do what I tell you to do, get out of my house, or don't ask me for nothing else. And then that's when they go out and create another family. So, and which is typically the family when they're in the red, black, or blue. But what I'm saying is this population of young men that we work with here at Next Level Boys Academy is a group of young men that a lot of us have basically pushed to the side or just refused to work with.
Right.
Because they went out and made a mistake. And the thing that bothers me the most is, what would this world look like if everyone was punished for their first mistake? Right. Would you be on the radio station?
I probably wouldn't. I mean, I done made some mistakes. I done got my hair braided where I plugged the dryer up in the wrong plug and blew the whole station off the air for hours. So, you know what I mean? This is when I first got on radio and I was in St. Louis. So, I mean, even that, you know what I'm saying? That's a big deal. They probably lost money. You know what I'm saying? Commercials probably didn't play. So I definitely think people need a second chance. Let me ask you a quick question, man. What's the stance on the water boys? Because I know that's been an issue. You know what I'm saying? These young men growing, some of them get a little aggressive. And there was also a killing that happened with one of the water boys recently in Atlanta. What are the stance on the water boys, Andre?
Man, listen, man, I'll let Brother Dickens talk about that. I haven't had a chance. I have one water boy to come through the program. Water boys, man, you know, I'm on the south side, man. So that's some Atlanta stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the south side of Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So I think with these water boys, man, I've gotten a lot of phone calls about them. I don't really have a direct approach to them. It sounds like to me, it's a group of young men that got together and said, hey, man, it's a hustle out here on the water. So back in the day, y'all used to protect your block for the dudes that were selling the crack and the weed. Right. But these boys don't have no crack and weed. They got water. And you come out here and disrespect my block, you know, I'm going to see about you. Right. And if you don't get no water from me, I'm going to mess you up. So, right. You know, so well, I don't know. Hey, this is Water Boys project, man. I don't know about that, man. I deal with everybody from the airport south. So that's Atlanta shit, man. Andre gonna talk to you about that.
Well, look, no, you're very right, man. I mean, like this week alone, we had a water boy involved incident where a shooting occurred at Greenbrier. Wow. So this is a individual that they say he's known for selling water. And so, you know, I mean, I grew up in Atlanta, been here most of my whole life. And I remember growing up we were selling everything from Krispy Kremes to fruit to all kinds of stuff on the corner, but it was supervised by adults. And this was money that I would be able to use. You know, I'd cut grass and do everything else so I can go to Six Flags, so I could take a girl on a date or whatever. I was making money that was useful for me to buy some cool clothes or whatever. But now you're talking about when we they did a study to say how much was the average water boy making in a day during the height of the pandemic and the height of the summer. $200 a day, $200 to $250 a day. Now you standing on the corner, you 13, 14, you all of about 120 pounds, and you got $200 in your pocket. You look like Christmas to some people, right? So then the Jack boys come out, the Robin crews come out, and others come out. So then they take you for your $200, $250, $300. And they keep seeing you go back to the store, your cases of water. They can count. So by 3, 4 o'clock, they coming to get you. So what you do at 3 or 4, at 13 years old, you get a strap. Right. So the next time they come at you, you like, don't try that game. No, that happened last week, not today. And so now we got turf wars, and we got basically a battle on the street, and water is a product. But the money is really the aim and the purpose of it all, because poverty exists, or they doing what I did, just wanted to be able to have some money in my pocket. So we have to be able to get them into an entrepreneurial framework, have to be able to get them a bona fide, legit license for that corner, for that time, for that day. And then we have an adult supervision program with them. Everything else is then deemed illegal. That's the route that we should be taking, but it takes a lot of powers that be to pull that off.
Yeah, so if we go without the powers that be, Atlanta has enough black millionaires to pull up on these corners every day, drop $120 off, and them boys get the hell on. Atlanta can do that. Right. But the problem is, do they really care? And the reason why a lot of these boys are here failing in their lives, man, they're going through all of this because nobody really cares, man. When I pull up on first of all, the first thing I say to them, hey, man, I am armed, back up. I don't want, now, how you gonna sell me some water and you ain't got no water? Right. You know what I'm saying? You walking up to me, hey, bro, I want to hit you. You want some water, bro? Where your water at, man? So I'm thinking, I'm like, so I happen to ask one of them a question. What are your financial goals every day? And they say $120. Imagine, man, we have enough successful people in this city to be a blessing to these young men every single $120. It takes some of y'all in these luxury cars $120 to fill those up. Park the luxury car one day and give a black boy $120 to save his life or prevent him from shooting somebody else over some water. Come on, Atlanta, y'all can do it, man.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
So let me ask you a question, fellas. I know this is one of the biggest things that we always go through. You know what I mean? And I've always been an advocate of just black fathers being alive. How important is the black man in our youth lives?
Let's ask the youth.
Yeah, okay. I definitely want.
My daddy was in my life, so I don't know that. I can't answer that question.
Now, my father wasn't, but I had plenty of coaches and principals and all that. I didn't meet my dad until I was 16.
In school because you're kind of old, right?
No, they ain't beat. They hit you with a ruler. That's what they.
That's
hit you
paddle.
With.
I mean,
they don't do that no more. That'll give you some act right though.
Well, you hit somebody with a ruler now, they'll fire you, and then all the other stuff. So
lawsuits.
Let's ask them, man. What's the point?
Ask questions.
Yeah, you got to work with us, J. Nick. Some folks, you know, we had that yacht before we came here. So the question was, how important is it to have fathers in your life, man?
I feel like it's very important because without my father in my life, I felt like I was the man of the house. So I feel like I can do what I want to do without the right discipline. I couldn't be disciplined the right way.
So I want to ask real quick. I have a question to the grown men because a lot of these young men probably don't know. Pass the mic to my big bro there. What does the man of the house look like to you?
Confident.
What are the financial responsibilities?
In my life, my mother, honestly, was the provider consistently because she was the most educated. My stepfather was absolutely the most incredible support system to her contribution. And he was not a slacker in no way, shape, or form, but I had a very high level of respect for him. First of all, because the way he treated my mother, he loved my mother. And second of all, the way he treated myself and my sister. But I knew he wasn't to be played with. And I knew that it was important to have him in my life. I did not know to the extent his impact would be on me until I became a stepfather.
Wow.
See, the most difficult thing is to raise somebody else's child as your own.
Well, the reason why, what makes it really difficult, because a lot of women ain't having it. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And so I want to ask you a question, man. How was it, man? I mean, because you was the man of the house at 13. So that means you paid the mortgage, you paid the power bill. When she was PMSing, you had to make sure she was good. You had to go get some tampons. You had to do all that as man of the house, right?
No,
Okay,
exactly.
well, you're the man of the house there, man.
Man, exactly. What I mean by the man in the house, I mean, like, I didn't want my mom to have to stress about not being no food there. I didn't want my mom to stress about me not having no clothes or she not having enough gas to go in her car to do this or do that for me, and or have enough money to.
But who told you that was your responsibility?
Nobody told me it was my responsibility. It's just something that a man knows is supposed to, you know what I'm saying, supposed to be done around the house, you know, like.
At 13?
Yeah.
I'll just sit in the dark.
You don't necessarily be like, I'm gonna be out here and just, you know what I'm saying, go get me a job and I'm gonna pay the bills and stuff, but you know that your mom needs somebody. You know that she
Man,
can't do it by herself.
I'm from Alabama. At 13 years old, I think I'm still learning how to color. We might have just gotten to 3 times 3. So you're talking about going out, the man of the house. Now I hear this a lot, man. When I think of a man of the house, I think of someone, we're not even talking about the financial need, man. At 13 years old, you're handling and dealing with the expectations and the acceptance of a woman, a grown woman. How old was your mom when you was 13?
My mom young now, so she about 38. So when I was 13, she was about 27, maybe.
So there are some 27-year-olds who can't handle a 27-year-old woman. So you're 13 years old, man, and that's what's really dealing with, brother. That's what a lot of these young men are dealing with. That what we don't talk about is that it all starts in the house. Yeah. Everything you do in the public, it starts in the house first. You just don't randomly go out in the public and just hypothetically disrespect someone. It starts at home. And another issue, Brother Dickens, you give the mic to him, that we don't talk about, man, is what are daddies?
Yeah, I don't know why you gave me this mic at this time on that one.
Because you're the man in Atlanta, man. I gotta get. You can pass it to your brother to your left.
But no, I mean you're right. I mean what you're doing is drawing a line between the decisions that they're having to be forced to make at 12, 13, 14 years old that are very mature decisions. They are taking on the role of man of the house at an early age, and they still aren't able to make quality decisions even amongst their peers, let alone with their parents, let alone with society. So they making critical decisions at 12 and 13 years old, and it's because of absence of fathers, absence of role models. And so to get to the root cause of some of the youth crime, now I'm not talking about somebody shooting up at the club and they 40 years old mad about something at the end of the night. No, I'm talking about 15 years old, 16 years old, 14 years old, breaking in your car or, you know, robbing somebody over some water. These are decisions that are being made by individuals who are that there's only one person in the house, one leader in the house, and all around them, the images and the things they're receiving are not feeding them positive positive role models, positive things that they can be. And so that's why we have to have intervention programs, male role models to step in and fill in the gaps, to show them the positive way, to give them a great opportunity. Because I hope we get to this part in a little bit, Gary, when we talk about my brother back there, that's the lawyer, can tell you how fast these charges accumulate. We talk about there's every second that you in a convenience store when you about to rob it, it ends up adding like 10 years, you know. So Stu, we're gonna give it back to you in a second, but I want to get to those, how they don't even know that what they're doing is gonna ruin their lives forever. You know, you can get 40, 50, 70 years on one dumb attempt at making some money.
Wow. Yeah. So this is what we're going to do, man. So you have more questions for you, man. You're doing an outstanding job, man. I need to go ahead and call your boss, man. You need a raise, man.
I appreciate it. I mean, my biggest thing is like, why does it always seem that our young black men get thrown under the bus? It's almost like you make a little mistake. Some of these charges, I mean, some of these I guess crimes don't seem like you get 50 years, but you want to give a little black boy 50 years. Like what's going on with our society that we always got to be the ones to get thrown under the bus?
Because our priorities are off. I mean, we don't have people in position to make those decisions. Those decisions are made and under the gold dome, to my understanding. Yeah. So we're just trying to get to the bag, man. We're not trying to get in a position to say, I got a young man in here, man, that was facing 316 years in prison, never shot anybody, right?
Wow.
So
wait a minute, you got to say that.
How?
Never shot anybody. Nobody died. Nobody got hurt. None of that. 316 years. Is that right, counsel? 316 years he was looking at, never shot anyone. So, and you think about it, when you look at the laws, man, we're not going to make this a black or white issue. That's what we're not going to do. But what we can talk about is when you look at the way the laws are written and when you look at who would it affect the most, okay? You know, you're talking about an armed robbery out the gate. How many years? 20 years out the gate, right? Well, we already know what does it take to commit an armed robbery? A gun. So we don't talk about the 75 to 100 guns that are planted on the corner of MLK and Joseph Lowry. Just throw it in the middle of the night, just throw a whole bag of guns out there in the ditch. We don't talk about that, right? So there's a lot of issues, man, that we got to fix within ourselves as black and brown people, man, that can make a difference. Number one, just got to get involved, man. You got to get involved. In this program, every Saturday, and I think I said to you yesterday that, man, you have, I know, well over 100,000 years of prison time in here. Wow. And you're thinking, wow, that's a lot of people. That's like 30, 40 people, man. Wow. And I could be off a little. I know I told one of my mentors this, like, man, we're diverting 100,000. Like, man, do you know how many 100,000 is? Until he heard the fact of, well, you heard from 5 young men. We were already at 1,000. So, you know, it's just that we got to get in the position, man, to just kind of revamp these laws. Now, here's the deal. I want to be very clear to everyone that's listening to this. There are some people that should go to prison. Don't get me wrong. They should go. However, when you got a young man who's a first offender, never created a crime, never been locked up, 17 years old, man, we just can't send him to prison because we're going to look around. It's just going to be us. It's just going to be us here, man. So, and we just got to put stuff in place.
But we always ask, how effective is the jail and prison system? Like, you know what I mean? It's almost like it hurts everybody. Like some of the guys I know that got out of jail, they don't know nothing. They don't know what an iPhone is, don't know how to work it. The technology is so much advanced. So when they get out, it's like, what do you do if you're not educated and you go to jail? Like, how effective?
But if they don't know what all this is, man, obviously the prison has accomplished its goal.
Right.
It's to keep you dumbfounded. You're probably getting some shots and some medicine there. You get out, you probably can't make no more kids. So, and then there you go, you know, we're falling off, man. But that is not even a conversation for that, man. We want to make sure that we get through this program. Right. That's something else we can talk about. But I do have some young men in the program that's been to prison and now out. They're not here this evening so that you can hear their experience, man. One day you are sitting in a 12th grade class and the following year you're in a prison with grown men. And it doesn't matter, you know, how you adjust, what you go through, or anything like that. But at the end of the day, man, and I know we got a lot of people listening to this, and I'm gonna keep stressing this, we got to get involved in our communities, man. And yes, young men are committing crime, but just talk to them, ask them why. Okay, you just can't send everybody to prison. We're thankful to have a DA in office in Fulton County that gets it, that understands. Now, let me make it clear. You pull a gun on somebody, she's going to send you to prison.
Right. We'll send you to prison.
Okay, I want to be very, very clear with this new DA that's in Fulton County. If you pull a gun on someone, the minute you pull it out, 20 years. Just think about that. 20 seconds, 20 years. Do the math.
Wow. Wow. So let me ask you, Andre, like what can we do to you know what I mean, just enhance the services, like as far as in Atlanta, to help our youth? Like what other programs are out there besides, you know what I'm saying, the one Gary got?
Yeah, so I mean, definitely intervention programs and mentoring programs that continue to show people a positive light and what they can be doing. But at the same time, we also, you know, need our parks and recs. You think about last year during the pandemic, basketball, football, all those things that get your aggression out, that gets you an opportunity to compete, give you a place to be that's organized, that has a structure. Those things were broken down because of the pandemic. We couldn't get together in that way. And then you also had the situations where, you know, I started midnight basketball back in 2018. It starts at like 7 p.m. and goes to midnight. Guys was playing ball and getting trophies and winning and all that stuff, but we couldn't do it last year. So now this year we're trying to get it back with guidelines, but also we're starting to look at youth boxing so that guys can get that discipline, so they can understand, hey, this is how you negotiate and instead of pulling out a pistol. This is how you are able to, you know, control that anger and be able to discuss things at the end of the day and to see, you know, that somebody's a human on the other side of this. I mean, we were talking about this. Gary and I was talking about how some of these cats, after a while, they have no respect for human life. I mean, when you've seen a lot of death, and I'm getting nervous about how much death we see with excessive use of force cases. All of these shots that we're seeing police take, and all these shots we're seeing video cameras take of people robbing and killing each other, we're seeing death a whole lot. So then you become desensitized to it. So when it's your turn to be able to make a split decision about whether I'm gonna pull the trigger or I'm gonna run or let it slide, we're getting too used to the trigger being our answer. And so I think that the more and more programs we can have that say, one, here's a route to successful income. Here's a route to being a individual that makes enough money to fill a refrigerator, not enough money just to you know pay a one bill and not all the bills. No, a real job with a real living wage. Here's a pathway. We got to continue to do that. I train people in IT. That's what I do for a living. We train people that ain't never been to college on how to go and make $50,000, $60,000 at Microsoft and places like that. But it's only, you know, we can only do so much.
Well, my people ain't interested in that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Only so many people interested. So what about your construction folks? What about these other folks?
But here's the thing I want to ask, man. It's kind of like when they open the Parks and Rec, didn't they just write these things and say, you know, you cannot coach if you got a felony? Well, the people who don't have a felony got to work. They ain't got time to coach. So the people with the felony got the time, man. But one thing I do want to know, and I want to pull you in on this, man. A lot of these cats out of the streets, man, there are no more OGs, to say the least, that's out here, man, that really, really care. Right. That really can get to these young men's ears. I'm glad I'm associated, connected with one that's doing some amazing work, man. So I'm gonna give him the mic, man. So you want to chime in on this because you know, the Parks and Rec, y'all open the Parks and Rec, man, then y'all charge $125 to play football. Man, nobody got $125, man.
Rich brothers that
man, y'all won't even give the boys $100 at the water bars, man. Y'all not finna play nobody football, man.
I wanted to first of all add to what Mr. Dickens said, because martial arts saved my life. As an adult, it continues to save my life as an adult. And the information that's poured into me through my 7 instructors, I continuously pour into my little homies. And I see the effect of that wisdom. I see the effect of it. So saying rec ball, we got to get these kids way earlier. And we have to put them in martial arts class, which is going to teach integrity, character, loyalty, discipline. We got to get them in football, basketball, baseball, but we have to support and encourage the coaches. See, the coaches are almost obsolete now. And like you said, because some of them have priors, but we need these men who want to give their time to the youth.
Because a lot of these men, bro, you know this is the only time they get a chance to see their kids. Because y'all good old child support system say they can only see them on the weekends. So that's the only time they get y'all child support system. We'll talk about that next week. But So this is the only time they get a chance. So you think about the South Side, where you're from, man. Where kids play football at? Where is Old National still open?
And that breaks my heart, because I came up at Old National Athletic Association, and there's been so much, rumors of this and rumors of that going on at the park. But that's my mission, to really get kids back into Old National Athletic Association, as well as Union Boxing, as well as Coach Mustafa Boxing, as well as King Raheem Boxing. There's so many places that these young people right now can spend the time to get not only physical training, but mental and spiritual training. See, people think of boxing and martial arts as, oh, you just teaching them how to fight. No, it's a way of life. It's way more important than kicking and punching. Once you really understand your power as a human being, the best martial arts artist plants the best seeds, meaning they grow the best fruit. Of all the arts that we speak of, the martial arts is the most important, because it decides whether or not you live and die. And that's not about the action you take. That's about the thoughts that permeate in your mind, that control the words that come out. And that goes back to self-confidence.
Mm-hmm. But outside of martial arts, man, who could teach that?
Well, here's something that we're dealing with. Right now, half the people, or some percentage of the people that might have wrote into the station, or might have called in, or commented on our Facebook, was hoping for us to say lock them up. They thought the answer. I'm a citywide Atlanta council person, so that means everywhere from Buckhead all the way down to all over the city.
You're
right?
supposed to say Bankhead.
But I was gonna say Bankhead, but
that's what y'all motto is. Man.
But I go everywhere. So the point is, though, people will tell you need to lock them up. That's the answer. And I say, how you gonna keep locking everybody up? We have to start with what we've been talking about is, activities, discipline, role models, and all these other things, because you think we already got an overcrowded jail. Fulton County is overcrowded. Men are sleeping in the hallway, sleeping on the floor, to the point to now we're being asked, can the city jail, which is a misdemeanor jail, traffic violation jail, is now being asked to be used as the felony jail as well. Wow. And this is America. America incarcerates something like 25-30% of the world's population for incarcerated people. I mean, that cannot continue to be the solution. Some people do need to go to jail, but how do we make this distinction between, that we just gonna say, hey, at 17, hey, you make this mistake, now you got to do 20, as he just said. And like we said, when you go rob a convenience store because you decided that's what you want to do today, or you in the car with somebody that's gonna rob a convenience store, and he gets back in the car and fires a pistol out the window, you, him, and everybody in that car gonna do 40, 60, 70, right? Easy. That's how the charges roll up. And so we have to get to them to where we say that's not the way to go. Right, that we got to have, whether it's the schools, it's after school, it's the mentoring program, it's the rec league ball, it's karate, it's mentoring, it's all of that stuff, entrepreneurial training, because brothers want to make money. That's the other thing right now. Every last one of them got an IG account that's filled with somebody that's showing them money, showing them how good life is, whether it's women, whether it's men, somebody's showing them the good life. And the direct route there happens to be on the other side of sometimes, unfortunately, a bad decision.
And to all my people out there who has arrived that says lock them up, either your child or your grandchild is really intrigued by that dude that you think is a thug. Because you may move them out to the wine and cheese communities, to the best schools and nice neighborhoods, but Instagram reaches out there. I see it every day. 2-parent households. I got pastors' kids in here, politicians' kids in here, rich folks' kids in here, poor folks' kids in here. Here's what I know about your son. Don't know much about your daughter, but this is what I know about your son. At an age of 12 or 13 years old, they're going to do what the hell they want to do. We just hope it's the right thing. Hopefully you have planted enough seeds at the age of 4, 5, and 6 that has created a foundation, a stability in them that's going to last them long enough to be able to think very, very quickly. Because there's something about the dude with the nappy hair, strong hair, tatted up, tall like this, tall like that. There's something about that dude. That dude that you got him away from, that dude that you going broke to put him in the private school from, he still rock with him. I tell you what you do. If you think I'm lying, right now, go to your child's Instagram page and see who they following. They ain't following nobody at their school you're sending them to. So anyway, I'll get back. I'll talk about that next week. So I want to hear about some of the success stories here, bro.
Yeah.
We got a man here, Dietrich, facing a whole bunch of years in prison. I think he's probably, by the time he got out, I think Jesus probably would have came back alive and had some more children. But we had an opportunity to get in this young man's life and just provide some intervention. He's facing 25 years in prison, armed robbery charge, just being in the car. Didn't even get out the car. Didn't even know what he was going for. So he got in the program. He trusted our process. He's been with us 3 or 4 years. He's now a junior in college, has a very thriving, successful landscaping business, has his own clothing line because he believed in the things that we're doing. So, Dietrich, just tell him a little bit about it, man, as you put the microphone up to your face like you're in the studio about to rap. So you're going to keep the microphone up to your mouth. Yeah, tell us, man, what impact has Next Level made on your life, man?
Most of the stuff that you just stated.
I forgot what I said.
Oh, okay. I got my own lawn care service. It's called Dreams to Reality Lawn Care Service, and Millionaire Playground is my clothing line. And I've been in the program since 2017, and it's been nothing but help.
If you don't have, now I'm tired of hearing the same speech.
Yeah.
And if you don't have nothing to say, I'm not going to invite you out no more.
Okay.
All right, cool. Now, Dietrich is a very humble guy, man. So let me ask you this. Because now here's the deal. You got a young man, mom and dad involved in this life, okay? So it's not come from a single parent household. Mom and dad both involved. So, Dietrich, I want to ask you a question, man. Prior to when you came into the program, man, how were you able to benefit all that you received from here? Businesses, tuition paid in college, from people that just falling through, man. Like,
No, what was about to happen to him, and then he came to the program?
right, what was about to happen to you had you not came to the program? That's what you're asking?
Yes.
Where would you be if you didn't come to the program?
I'll be in prison right now to this day. That's why I'm gonna just break it down to. I'm gonna just start talking about why people shouldn't be doing the things they should be doing right now. You feel me? Like you gotta like cherish the little things. You feel me? Behind the wall, you not finna look. I cherish the rain right now. You feel me? Like my brother call me and be like, "You outside, bro?" Yeah, I'm outside. I'm in the rain because you ain't finna see that every day. You feel me? You're not finna touch. You can't even touch the rain when you in the cell. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that people should just cherish the little things before they go out here and crash out.
Because you went in, and now you go to school and go back.
Right.
Yeah, so he had a special sentence. He goes to college throughout the year and has to report to jail in the summertime. Used to. Until he trusted the process. But yeah, he had a special sentence, man. So they was like, hey, listen, you got a college student here. We're not going to send him to prison. So we're going to let you go to college. If you flunk out, you're going for 25 years. If you make a C, we're going to send you to prison for 25 years. If you can't afford to go, you go for 25 years. But he was in and out of, he went to college and then jail every summer his first 2 years. And then we got some good lawyers involved. So now he's able to, and then we got case coming up, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but Stu, do you have any questions, man? Because it's something else I want to touch on real quick that we don't talk about enough, man.
Okay. I mean, no, I'm enjoying the conversation. I mean, I just think that it's one of the things. Well, this is been my biggest thing and my biggest issue. I get tired of I guess the council people that, you know what I mean, the people that's successful in Atlanta. I mean, I'm not gonna say Andre, but some of these brothers always got something to say about our youth, but don't ever even want to go talk to them. You know, some of these brothers, I be seeing them like, I remember going to Greenbrier Mall, I'm with my daughter, this man sacked and got his whole junk out. Brother, can you pull up your pants? King, let me talk to you. No disrespect, but I have my daughter here. Can you pull up your pants and put your penis back in your pants? You know what I mean? Okay. Like, I think some of them guys just want somebody to talk to them. And I feel like if you talk to them with respect, most likely they'll be like, respect, big homie, my bad. You know what I mean? That's what I get all the time. But I'm not afraid to talk to them. You know what I mean? And I think that we need more black men out there that's like, hey, bro, let me talk to you real quick. What's going on in your life? You know what I'm saying? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? How can we get these guys out here to stop sitting back and pointing fingers and actually go to action and call the action?
Yeah,
Counsel.
Hey, man, you point at me like I'm the problem.
He called you out. He told me yesterday he was going to do this.
He told me yesterday he was going to get me. Man, you're right. I'm going to tell you, I said this earlier. This is a community solution. If people are on social media or at church or anywhere else just tisking at folks, you part of the problem. Exactly. They hear that tisk. They see you turn on them. They see you avoid them. Hey man, I'm one decision away when I was 16 from not making it to where I am now. And I would imagine that most of the people watching here can think back to that one thing you did that you wish you didn't do. And luckily for you, you didn't get caught, or luckily for you, somebody extended you a tremendous amount of grace and mercy. That is how I exist. And I go see people in that light. So when I'm talking to a young man, when I'm over here, when I'm over there, I'm not coming at them like, look at you, shame on you, pity on you. And this is just an Instagrammable moment for me to be able to get some likes, some followers, and some love for a re-election. Right. Check that. Or man of the year for our great fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi, or Omega Psi Phi, or anything else.
No, don't put nobody else in.
Don't bring nobody else up. But people do a lot of stuff for, grown folks want a whole lot of attention. So they take pictures of them doing that one little thing, but not getting their hands dirty and jumping into the mix to really save a life, to really help someone. And I think that is now multiplying. Worry about my house. I go into my house, I close my garage, and the rest of the world can do whatever it needs to do. That is unfortunate. We used to live, we now live in our basements and behind closed doors and not out on the street riding bicycles and taking other people's kids to the zoo or picking up McDonald's for most, other folks. I know y'all don't eat McDonald's no more. But all that, I'm just saying that this stuff is not just a police, a school teacher, and they supposed to be the solution. And just mama. No. It's got to be all of us. And so that's why you can't call out a council person. You can't call out a commissioner. You can't call out some super executive that always getting all these rewards and awards, but yet you never see them actually get their hands. They would never actually have a real conversation with these young men, right? Because it's all, sometimes we just going for the glory and the likes instead of the real solution and helping folks.
And clout chasing, I think, and I'm you giving the mic. I think another thing too, man, is that first of all, it's not important to them. But think about this. Think about this real quick. If Atlanta and all of the surrounding counties and cities put something together to save the youth, you're going to eliminate jobs at the courthouse. You're going to eliminate jobs inside the jail. You're going to have cutbacks on police officers. There's money in crime. There is actually money in crime. So if I help you, where are we going to work? If I'm a police officer, I get out here. Police officers are the first people on the scene. They have the ability to make an impact in a young man's life way before he gets to the jail or the courthouse. But you know what? I'm going to make this situation bad for him because the worse I make it for him, the more likely I am to keep my job. So there's money in crime, and so you think about, so people often ask me, why is this job so important to you? What do you love most about your job? Well, to be very honest with you, I love most about my job because it gives me the ability to pick my 5-year-old up from school every day, okay? Because I can go and leave and pick her up and get back to court. But in all seriousness, man, I didn't grow up like this. I didn't grow up this kid that was breaking in cars and do all of this. I grew up in an environment that was built upon love. And somehow we as a people have been placed in a different tax bracket or a financial place that made us forget where we come from.
Right.
Growing up in the old Atlanta, man, I remember when I moved here, it was just unity here. You know, you can go, and I remember when they really started checking for weapons, they used to just check from the hip down, and then all of a sudden they start going behind the ear, you know, take your hat off, take your shoes off. There has been a shift in Atlanta with the crime because there has been a shift with the grown folk here who did not make these children a priority. And if you don't give them something to do, they will create something to do, which is most of the time illegal.
Yes.
I first want to applaud the councilman because he's absolutely right. And I want to address your question, bro. There are a lot of big homies that make themselves available to communicate and to put water on certain fires in these communities. I'm one of those. And a lot of times I split my time dealing with young people's issues that are not my responsibility. Like I take time away from my children to help other people's children. And it's a thankless position. So I don't get no hype from it. I don't get no clout from it. I do get to see young people live longer lives because I say, hold up, stop. You're going to make an emotional decision based on anger or fear or hurt. Let's talk about it. And if there's an issue in the community, they come to me and I'm able to call the big homie from that community and let's sit down and break bread and have a meal and discuss these issues. So and a lot of these OGs would like access to Gary Davis. They would like access to Mr. Dickens. They would like access to have real conversations to talk about what's going on in the mindset of their community. And that way they can not look at people in political positions as enemies. They can look at them as allies. But it's about communication and access. I'm looked upon as the dude from my hood who has access. So I get the calls. 4 o'clock in the morning. Last night, 4 o'clock in the morning, one of my homies lost their job yesterday. They didn't call their mother, their father. They called me. So there are a lot, and I want to take this opportunity to salute the big homies, and you know who you are, who do the work in the community to not play these young dudes off the street, not throw these young dudes' life away, who are looking at you as damn near God to them. The big homie said. The big homie said, see, where I'm from, we discipline. So if you do something out of line, you're going to get disciplined inside our house. That's structure. That's why I don't find out about a lot of shit till afterwards.
Yeah. And let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen again. So
What else you want to know, Stu?
I mean, I'm just encouraged. Like, as far as how can we make this next level boys academy bigger? Like, how can we make this situation grow? And I think that's one of the biggest things that a lot of people don't really know about. Like, a lot of people don't even know. I was telling people about Next Level Boys Academy. They didn't really know what was going on.
I don't know them either. So we all even.
How we make this thing grow, man?
Here's how we make it grow. We get with people say, hey, man, listen, why don't you get Next Level Boys Academy, a facility downtown Atlanta, right? Every Saturday, we're going to invite troubled young men out, those young men that nobody want to deal with. Atlanta has more rappers than they do drugstores. And just every weekend, we have a concert right before the class. The concert is to draw them in with your favorite rapper and just give me the microphone, Stu, and we just deal with it. Right. That's one thing that we can do in Atlanta. And imagine if every African-American in Atlanta put $1 into this organization. Don't worry about if it's coming to me because I was rich before I met you. Put $1 into this organization. Imagine the impact that you can make on this organization. So we have a councilman here. Give me the building. I think that I can keep the crowd of at least 2,000 or 3,000 black boys for 2 hours every Saturday.
Nice.
With the show opening up with the Gunna, a Lil Baby, T.I., Mike, Outkast. Just open up every week with different people. to come in and give us a 30 seconds of your time show, 1 hour, 1 minute, 2 minutes, and give me the mic, get the energy going, because here's the thing. Young men need our presence more than our presence.
Right.
And the minute that you show up in a young man's life, 5 minutes makes 5-year difference in his life. Right. So I ask you, Atlanta, give me the building. I got my man right here who has every artist in the United States in his phone. Give me a show every Saturday. Give me a 15-minute show. That's all I need. Just put your face on the flyer. Say you're going to come through. Don't even come through. And get these young men in here. Give me the microphone. Feed them, because we all know that everywhere Jesus went, he had food. You got to have food for black boys. That's all I need, man.
Hey, look, we are working on that. But that's what's up. That's real. That's what we need to do. We've been talking about it. I done took it to the people. We talking about how to be able to do something like this and what building and where we can find that. But at the same time, think about this. In this program are Crips, Bloods. That stuff don't matter once you up in here getting fed something nourishing. This becomes your family. Huh?
Well,
Kappa's Q's. Yeah. But
can we say Alpha? Alpha, yeah.
Alphas, yeah.
Can we say GDI?
But the point is, all these places that people go to belong, well, we become a place for them to belong. On Saturdays, all that stuff comes out the door. You in here for a purpose, to do right, to advance your life. And so you think about thousands of kids being able to come to a place downtown or wherever in the city of Atlanta to be able to get fed and to be able to get mental nourishment and a connection and maybe a job and some other stuff that go along with it. We'll change the course of this what we're seeing now in youth crime. And that'll be a good way to show the folks that say the only solution is to lock people up. It'll be able to say, no, there's other solutions that don't cost as much money as locking everybody up. It could turn somebody's life around, like this young man who now has a business, right? Who now has opportunity to fill his refrigerator through a positive legal means.
I want to leave you something real quick. I know we got about 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to give Ms. Summers the mic. We're going to give her about 45 seconds with the microphone. After 45 seconds, we're going to turn it off if she go over 45 seconds. But real quick, Ms. Summers, passing the mic down. All right, back up for a second, Maurice. Ms. Summers, stand up real quick. Tell us about this young man that you're holding. You got 45 seconds, Ms. Summers. You got 44 seconds left. You got 40 seconds left.
This is my son, Omari. This is Omari.
Okay, you good? You can stand up.
Oh, yeah, because he's heavy.
Okay, I'm sorry. No, she wants you. No, he don't want to hold. I hold Omari. Andre, you dancing around him. Go ahead. We got 30 seconds.
This is my son, Omari. He was 17 years old when he was killed. He was killed feet away from our door. We didn't know about Next Level program till after his death. I am a mom who is on both sides of the fence. I have a son that murdered somebody, and I have a son that was murdered. So the impact to me coming here is for your mothers, your fathers, your grandmothers, grandfathers, aunts, and uncles not to have to experience this. And I didn't know about Next Level till after all of this happened, but
now she here every Saturday.
What frustrates you in our 3 seconds we got left, right? What frustrates you the most from a lot of these young men who come in here and act like they don't want what we're offering? What frustrates you the most with that?
When they act like they don't care. And that's what hurts. It's painful because I see Omari in here. I see O'Shea. I see O'Shaq. And when they don't be receptive to it, the people left with the responsibility of pain are the families, our Next Level, are the councilmen, the councilwomen. That's who's left with the pain as a result from them not being receptive.
And you know what? For those you don't know, I went to mortuary school. I graduated. Had I not gone to mortuary school, I would never hold this. So you can get this back. So Stu, that's it, man. I know we're out of time, man. We can go on for 2 or 3 hours, man.
No, we definitely got to do this again, man. So we can figure out what we can do and move this thing forward, man. I just want to salute to everybody that's watching. You know what I'm saying? We got to start loving our kids, man. Love our boys, because right now, black men, we gonna be the stinks pretty soon. You know what I mean? Whether we in jail or we dead, so we got to make sure that we save our kids and save our boys and love on them. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know what I think you can do though?
What's up?
Yeah, this is what we think. This is what we think.
Listen to me. Can you hear me?
I'm listening to you.
Give me the goddamn mic at birthday bash.
Hey, we might be able to make that happen, man. We might be able to make that happen. We make that
Yeah, I
announcement.
know you're listening. Give me the microphone at birth. I don't need but 60 seconds. 60 seconds at the birthday bash. We good. We got the councilman here. I don't want no check from you. I don't want no money. Get me a building that can hold 2,000 black boys. I hit my man Bear up. He got every artist in Atlanta phone. Pull up for me. This brother has connected me with some major people, man. And that's all we need, Atlanta. Birthday bash. I see you there. Expect me on the microphone. Y'all give me this.
They got the artists already there. We got Bear and them. We got the artists.
Artists gonna be there. Give me the mic, bro.
Hey, look, Gary, for that, I might have to try to make that happen, man. You know what I'm saying?
Man, let's make it happen, man. Give me the microphone. I don't need no fame. I'm already famous. I just need to get my story out, man. All right?
I appreciate you, Ken. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna work on that. We making the announcement on Monday at 3 p.m. You know what I'm saying?
I just announced it. All right. So forget about that. Give me the microphone, man.
I got you. Hey, Gil, you hear him, Gil? Let's work, man.
I know Gil, Lo. Hey, Gil, I'm famous now. I got extra 10 followers. Can I get your phone number?
Well, listen, I definitely appreciate y'all, brothers, man, and I definitely appreciate what y'all doing for our youth and our kids, man. And I hope we can bring in some more brothers that can help you out and make this thing grow and make it bigger for the A-Town, man. So I definitely appreciate it. Appreciate everybody from tuning in. You know, and we got to do this again soon. I'm definitely
absolutely, man. See your birthday bash.
Salute, love.
All right, man.
For sure.